get to voice what you think. This is news. We tell people what we know, not what we want to happen. And he goes, no, everybody wants him fired. Everybody wants him fired. I go upstairs, and then the Times article comes out. He's not getting fired. But we knew that yesterday afternoon.
Yeah.
We knew that after the game.
We knew that before the game, no matter what happened.
He's not getting fired.
No.
He's done a really good job. He's got them to the playoffs every year he's been here. He won 106 games. You think he might be National League Manager of the Year?
He might be.
You think he might be? He might be National League Manager of the Year. And it'd be the second time for him.
Yeah.
Oh, no, he's got to go. And I'm thinking, this is insanity. Okay, all of a sudden, you start reading stuff. Dave Roberts' job is safe. I'm thinking, why is this even an issue? Why is this even being discussed? Now, there are headlines. He's expected to be back. Expected to be back? He's okay. Yeah, he is okay. You might not be happy with the outcome, but he's okay.
Do you think obviously, look, and it's a cool thing that we live in LA and the standards are high for the Dodgers as it is for, the Lakers and even, my alma mater, the standards are high for USC and we expect to be in the conversation for a championship every single year. And when it doesn't happen, somebody's got to pay for it, and that's the attitude of the people. But can you imagine, would they be saying this if he was the manager of the Diamondbacks or the manager of the Rockies or the Nationals? And he has had the record or the run that he's had in the last 4 years. People even entertain the idea of firing Dave Roberts.
No, of course not. It wouldn't even be plausible. It wouldn't even be a conversation.
Yeah.
But for whatever reason, and maybe it's that Lynch mentality, somebody's got to pay.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody's going to get it for this. We've been here before. Someone is going to get it. He's not going to get it. Ken Rosenthal, respected, writes, might trust be an issue for Dave Roberts? Trust. Might trust be an issue? Like guys don't trust him? They don't trust him anymore? Might trust be an issue? The guy that built the entire culture? Might trust?
Yeah. And that's the one thing that Dave Roberts, and you talk to every player, which we do, Fred, here on this show, and on air and off air, the one thing they say about Dave Roberts is that you know where you stand with Dave Roberts. He's up front with you. He talks to you. Now, people may not want to believe that, but inside that clubhouse, they all have respect for Dave Roberts because have you seen a team with as much talent come through that door over the last 4 years be able to check the egos that come through that door and be able to fit into a culture that is the Dodgers? Not every team can do that. Not every manager can do that. And it's a gift to be able to take those personalities and put them into roles that they may not be used to doing, and also have to fit the egos all together in that clubhouse. That's not an easy job. Aside from managing the game on the field, you have to manage the personalities in the clubhouse, and he does an outstanding job of that. And every single player that has been here, former player, will say the same thing about Dave Roberts.
Let me give you another one, all right? Well, you know why Clayton Kershaw pitched? Because Andrew Friedman said he's going to pitch. You want to know why things went the way they did? Well, because that's all scripted out. All he does is stand there and read a book, read a card. Whatever the card says, he does. He has said that's not true.
Yeah.
They collaborate on the lineup. That is true. During the game, he's not wearing the bat. There's no bat phone in the dugout.
After 3 p.m., it's all Dave Roberts.
He's making the decisions.
Yeah.
Now, there's this. He's kicked a couple.
Yeah.
He's kicked a couple.
Absolutely.
But what else? He's owned it.
Yeah.
He hadn't shied away and run from it.
Yeah.
He's owned it. The Rich Hill situation in the World Series. Hey, right or wrong, good or bad, he said, I'll eat that one.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. It's me. The Clayton Kershaw decision the other night. That's on me.
Yeah.
I'll wear that one. Now, whether you agree or disagree with what he did, obviously the results didn't pan out, But whether you agree or disagree, and if the results had panned out, that would be a different story. He stands there and he goes, it's me. I'm doing it. No one is telling me to do that. He's enough of a man to sit there and say, it's me. So if he makes a mistake or things don't pan out, he admits it. He's created a culture that is trying to be replicated around Major League Baseball in the clubhouse.
And here's the thing, too. You know, again, we've said this often, Fred, and sports are the last, what do you say, just the last, like, human live thing that you don't necessarily know the outcome. You got to play it out.
It's reality TV.
It's not Hollywood. You can't say, cut, let's do that again, let's take that again, let's reshoot this. It is real, and it's in the moment, and you got to make decisions in the moment. And sometimes they're good, and sometimes they don't go so well. And you got, I mean, just think about flip side of all this thing. Think about Martinez when, he brings back Corbin after Corbin gets shelled 2 games before coming out of the bullpen. And what if he gets shelled again? Does Martinez, you call for his head? Say, oh, why would you bring him back after the Dodgers killed him coming out of the bullpen? Well, he brings him back because he had a gut feeling about him, and Corbin was lights out. I mean, you got to make decisions in that role. He gets criticized for what you just talked about. Oh, it's too analytical. Andrew Friedman makes all the decisions. He doesn't go with his gut. Dave's got to go with his gut. Well, maybe he went with his gut. And his gut, sometimes your gut's wrong and sometimes your gut's right. And in this case, we disagree with it, but you got to live with it.
Weekdays at noon. Fred Roggin and Rodney Peete. After the Herd.
And on the iHeart Radio app.
Roggin and Rodney.
If you missed any of Roggin and Rodney, you can podcast it on the iHeart Radio app.
Roggin and Rodney.
AM 570 LA Sports.
Is the rap singer, the hook rap, real life convict singer.
Fred Roggin, Rodney Peete, AM 570 LA Sports. We're getting tweets from people. Lou Riley says, Fred, how many World Series winning teams can you name that have a different lineup every game? Game has changed, though. Game has changed. And the principles were in for the Dodgers. Now, a guy like Cody Bellinger didn't have a great series.
Or Seager.
Corey Seager didn't have a great series.
Yeah.
What should Dave Roberts do about that? Go bat for him?
Right.
And I don't mean send somebody up to bat. Should he himself go up and hit for them? I mean, what are you going to do?
Yeah, especially if it's worked for you for 106 wins. The formula's worked for you for 106 wins. Okay, we're going to drastically change the way we do things in the postseason. And I understand the postseason's different. The competition's stiffer. The stakes are higher. I get all that. But at the same time, like any other sport, you got to go, for the most part, with what you got you there. And there's going to be some nuances here and there in the postseason, obviously, but you got to go with what got you there. And if what got you there was playing guys in different roles in different situations, then that's what you continue to do.
All right, let's go, Mark in Ontario. You're on AM 570 LA Sports. Go ahead.
Gentlemen, I thought your show yesterday was the greatest sports show I ever heard. You guys were on fire.
Oh, man, thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
Appreciate that, Mark.
Okay, my point, just please.
But not literally.
I'm in business. I think about this stuff a lot. Dave Roberts is 50-50 in the playoffs. I don't know who made him a pitching expert. He was an outfielder who stole some bases. Kershaw is not the problem. You didn't mention Pollock. He struck out 11 out of 13 times. Somebody decided to keep him in the lineup. Corey Seager swinging from the fence. All you have to throw Corey Seager is a curve to his feet, and he'll swing at the clutch. But who picked Darvish? Kershaw was a star. Remember Darvish they picked? Somebody picked Darvish a couple years ago against Houston to start. Then Kershaw was a star. I don't know who made that decision. So, look, there's a sense of urgency, and the only reason why I'm calling is this. We have a chance to get Joe Madden. Joe Madden will win 100 games. Dave Roberts will get a job somewhere. He can go – let him build the Angels. Let him build the Padres. Let him build the Phillies. There's plenty of jobs. He'll get a job. Vic will be happy. But I'm telling you, we're going to be here next year. Kevin Kennedy said it. I heard a few things. Just let me close here. Fred, you said yesterday Kershaw shouldn't be there. That was a good quote. Kevin Kennedy said the game moved too fast for Roberts because he's an outfielder. He doesn't play. He's not a pitcher. He's not a catcher. He's not a pitching expert. And Friedman worked with Joe Madden. Maybe Friedman or Ned Colletti comes back, who built the team. But you guys are wonderful. I love you guys. But please, it's a sense of urgency. If you don't get Madden, we're stuck here. There's nobody else. Thanks.
Mark, thanks for the call. I would just say this.
The sky is falling.
No, I would say this. They won 106 games. 106 games. So, most in Dodger franchise history. 106 games. I mean, of course there's a sense of urgency. But, again, let's be fair. Dave Roberts had to do something right. He has already at one point been the National League Manager of the Year.
Yeah, and let's be clear. There's no manager out there who's an expert in one thing, but they've all played the game. Aaron Boone is not a pitcher. He's a manager of the Yankees. I mean, he's not a pitcher. There are very few managers out there that actually were pitchers, and that's why you have other coaches. That's why you have Rick Honeycutt. That's why you have, pitching coaches and bench coaches and outfield coaches and the specialists, coaching third base. I mean, that's why you have coaches, because they are focused on their particular area. So no manager has to be a pitcher to be the manager. I mean, that's ridiculous. And on top of that, everything is a collaborative effort. Everything is sat and talked about in the meeting. He mentioned Darvish. That was talked about. Do we go after him or do we go after Verlander? Now, we all sat here last year or a couple years ago and said, just go spend the money on Verlander. I don't think you did, Fred. You didn't want to do that. But we were saying go get Verlander because it was about Verlander or Darvish. Those were the two guys out there. Houston went and got Verlander, and we got Darvish. That was, put it all on Dave Roberts, but you can't, because that was a front office, that was a collective decision that we're going to get this guy. Now you got him, and you got to use him. You got him for a reason. You got to use him. And so you can only play with the players that you have. You know what I'm saying?
Tony and Whittier, go ahead.
Hey, Fred. Listening to everybody. Rodney, sorry. Hey, Rodney.
Hey, what's happening?
Listening to everyone yesterday taking the blame, putting the blame on Dave Roberts, putting the blame on Kershaw. But, growing up as a kid, coaching baseball, I was quoted to my boys, and I was always taught, we win as a team, we lose as a team. So if there's anyone to blame for losing the playoffs, I blame the entire team. Not Roberts, not Kershaw. That's all I got to say.
All right. And Tony, that makes sense. Thanks for the call. Thanks for listening. Yeah, you know what? Again, I'm on record, so I can't back off, and I won't. Kershaw shouldn't have been in the game. Period. That's how I feel. But you could make the argument, okay, if these guys come through with runners on base, doesn't really matter what Kershaw does in the game.
Yeah.
They'd have more runs. It's 25 guys, a manager and a coaching staff.
Yeah. I mean, again, it's until you've been in that situation or been in the fire, you don't quite understand. It's easy to sit on the sideline when you have no pressure on you and say, oh, I would have made that decision or make this decision. But when you're in the middle of it, and this clubhouse, your own team,